Smartphones with satellite connectivity. Satellite phones have historically remained a product that served a very narrow niche. Because of their special connection needs, satellite phones need different connectivity hardware than cell phones. For now, though, most of the available or demoed satellite connectivity options on smartphones focus on SOS messages. In the near future, we can expect to see two-way messaging as well, and some more months down the line, we hope to see internet data throughput as well. T-Mobile and SpaceX's satellite partnership. When leaks and rumors kept pointing towards an imminent satellite connectivity launch on the iPhone 14 series, T-Mobile swooped in to announce its own partnership with SpaceX to provide satellite connectivity on smartphones through Starlink satellites. The highlight of this partnership is that you don't need a dedicated satellite phone or even satellite connectivity tech in your phone to use it, when it launches in 2023. SpaceX's Starlink satellites will be used to broadcast a new network on T-Mobile's 1900 MHz mid-band spectrum, so your existing 5G smartphone should be able to connect to it just fine. So when a T-Mobile subscriber does not have a ground cell tower nearby, they will be able to connect to this new network and send SMS, MMS, and use select messaging apps. Voice and data connectivity are promised to be added in the future, though it would be wise to keep your expectations grounded. It could take as long as half an hour for a message to go through, so don't expect it to replace your 5G plan anytime soon. T-Mobile's satellite connectivity plans are expected to launch in late 2023 in beta, right after SpaceX's planned satellite launches. T-Mobile has not expressly detailed any further pricing information on the plan but said that it will aim to bundle it for free on T-Mobile's most popular plans. If you are on a lower cost plan, you may have to pay an additional monthly fee to avail of this service. Apple's emergency SOS via satellite. Satellite communication on smartphones became a topic of conversation thanks to Apple. The iPhone 14 and its siblings are the first set of smartphones widely available in the market that support satellite connectivity, although this is restricted to a few countries at launch. Apple takes a hardware-centric approach instead of a network-centric approach like T-Mobile. So to gain access to this feature, you need to have the iPhone 14, iPhone 14 Plus, iPhone 14 Pro, or the iPhone 14 Pro Max. The feature does not work on older iPhones due to the lack of specialized antennas for satellite communication. So don't expect the feature to arrive on older iPhones at all. The feature is only available in the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, Ireland, Germany, and France at launch. Note that the feature is free for the first 2 years, and Apple hasn't detailed what it will be charging post this period. It has partnered with satellite provider Globalstar for this service. Since the feature requires a direct line of sight with satellites, Apple also built a special interface to help users position their devices optimally. To use the feature, you must be in a location without a network signal and dialing for an emergency. The iPhone will then suggest emergency SOS via satellite and will forward your text along with your location to the nearest emergency service. There's also a ground relay service that will call emergency services if they do not accept texts. Note that Apple's emergency SOS service is a one-way messaging service and does not support receiving responses to the messages sent out. But since the service went live in November 2022, it is indeed the first service to be actually available to consumers in a mass-market product. Qualcomm's Snapdragon satellite for Android. Of course, with Apple taking the lead on satellite connectivity on iPhones, Android OEMs are unlikely to sit quiet. So in January 2023, during CES, Qualcomm announced Snapdragon satellite for Android. Snapdragon satellite for Android is similar to Apple's emergency SOS feature, but it expands upon the use cases. Notably, it promises two-way messaging, letting users both send and receive messages. And rather than be restricted to just a handful of devices, Qualcomm is making the service available to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chipset at first. OEMs can build a smartphone with this connectivity feature, but note that it will not be made available to existing phones as it requires specific hardware antennae that are not present in current devices. And going a step beyond, the company promised at MWC in March 2023 that the feature will be made available to future chipsets and modems beyond the flagship Series 2, so even a budget phone will be equipped to send out an emergency SOS. Qualcomm's satellite partner for this service is Iridium. The service will be restricted to North America and Europe at launch, and device manufacturers will be setting the pricing for the service. We don't know if the feature will be expanded to more regions. As part of the vision for this service, two-way messaging will open up non-emergency uses too. Qualcomm may also eventually roll out voice and video support, but this will require more infrastructure. MediaTek's satellite connectivity chips. MediaTek also played its hand in February 2023, ahead of MWC. The company showed off two chipsets that enable two-way satellite communication on smartphones. What makes MediaTek's approach unique is that both are standalone chipsets based on an open, non-proprietary standard. Hence, they do not require smartphones to have a MediaTek CPU. This lets phone manufacturers add satellite connectivity features to any 4G or 5G smartphone, regardless of its primary SoC. If you want an Android smartphone with two-way satellite messaging already incorporated, you need to look at the Motorola Defy 2. This is a rugged smartphone with a built-in two-way satellite messenger called the Bullet Satellite Messenger, a direct-to-device messaging service for Android phones. And to enable the feature, it relies on MediaTek satellite chips for satellite connectivity. The Motorola Defy 2 is headed to North America, Latin America, and Canada in 2023, with a price tag of $599, which includes a 12-month subscription to the Essential plan from Bullet, 32-way messages per month. The plan will cost $5 post the included subscription, while heavier usage plans will go all the way up to $60 for 252-way messages. The same phone has been rebranded into the Cat S75 with a different back design, and you can pre-order it in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa for €599/£549, which includes a 3-month free trial of the Essential plan from Bullet. Motorola Defy Satellite Link. Samsung is also joining the race with its Exynos modems. The company announced that it had established the technology to enable two-way satellite messaging, just like its industry peers. The tech works on the Exynos 5300 modem to connect to low Earth orbit satellites. This will allow future Exynos modems to support two-way communication. Samsung's mobile chief has famously remarked that the functionality of the technology is fairly limited. This has been cited as the reason why satellite connectivity is not present in the Galaxy S23 series. So it remains to be seen how the company implements it on their devices. The technology has constraints, and as consumers, the cost will be one of your primary concerns. Satellite connectivity on your smartphone is not going to be cheap. It either comes as an upfront cost of a new device like the iPhone 14, which is also only free for 2 years and could be any price after that, or it will be tied to a subscription model that will charge per message. Unlike what you may be used to paying for SMS, this cost may appear exorbitant. But looking at the use cases, they do appear justified. Remember, emergencies don't show up with an announcement. You never really know when you are in an unfortunate situation where you need to dial an emergency number but have absolutely zero cell network. The probability of such a situation is higher if you frequently visit less populated areas notorious for bad network reception.